Hey guys, SK here, back with another Clash Royale video. Hope you guys are all doing well. I just had to get that loading screen in because it is a very nice new loading screen. I like the art, the Night Witch looks nice. They actually added a new Night Witch art in-game as well, which is over here. So some new makeovers coming. I think they update card arts every month at this point or something. But anyways, back to the point of the video. Today, I'm very pleased to have the privilege of sharing the #1 Xbow players' games from last season. So I'm sure it'll come as no surprise to you that it was actually Betfas, who was the #1 Xbow player in the world last season. He finished number 19 with 3.0 Xbow Cycle. I'll show you guys on the leaderboard over here. And he was the #1 Xbow player again, so really impressive stuff there. Next up was Aragon, who finished 25th and 28th, which is incredibly impressive as well, of course. 2 accounts in the top 30. But Betfas was still first at 19. 8,319 trophies, by the way. So I'll also just show you guys real quick, because I also finished top 1K. Actually was really proud of this one. I finished number 267. Not sure why it says 265 there. Some kind of glitch, but anyways, yeah, I was very proud of that as well. And really happy about it. We'll be posting more videos on that as well. But today's video is going to be, again, like I said, sharing the games of Betfas. And so I have 5 replays that he has shared with us today, all against some really good pro players, all of which finished very high as well. So what I'll be doing is, I have done a video like this a long time ago. I think it's been quite a while, like probably a few months, but I'll basically just be breaking down his games, giving my commentary over them to kind of analyze and give you guys some more insight into how I think he's handling these matchups, because some of them are definitely hard counters, bad matchups, and he just does a great job. So I'll try and keep it somewhat in order. The most recent game, the final game he played of the season, was this one against El Patron, who is actually also known as Jorge Luis, who is pretty much the best Giant Graveyard player in the world. As you can see, he finished, okay, it doesn't actually say where he finished, but I'm pretty sure he finished like top 50 or top 20, wherever. I think he's finished #1 in the world before, and in that same season he also had 3 accounts in the top 10, so obviously an insane player here. Gonna take a look at exactly how Betfas was able to win this one. So let's get into the first match here. Betfas on the bottom, El Patron on the top, and let's see what's up. So this is definitely a bad matchup, I think. Giant Graveyard always traditionally hard, but Jorge has the Archer Queen in this deck as well, so that makes it even harder, I think, because Archer Queen is a great response to Xbow, in the sense that you can't kill it without having a Knight to block, as well as some other form of DPS, I think. And they can just let the Xbow lock on sometimes, go for a Queen on it, and then you can't kill it at all, because Fireball Log does not kill Archer Queen. So here we just see a center Tesla from Betfas. Skarmy comes down, just going to log that off. And so a big part of any Giant Graveyard matchup, I think, is just these center Teslas constantly. I think they're very important, and they're definitely useful in just resetting and setting up for a decent situation on the map. So Giant in the back from Jorge, and I believe Betfas goes in here, but let's see. Yep, he does opposite lane. So Jorge here is just going to let this lock on, and then I think he's going to go for a Queen on it, which is exactly what I was talking about actually before. So this is exactly why Queen is so good against Xbow. Takes the Xbow out, and Jorge saves the ability, so it will just force even more elixir out. Snowball on the Knight plus Tesla. Skeletons on the Queen, trying to force the ability out early if possible. And actually, he doesn't even play the ability, which is very interesting. E-Spirit cleans up there. Dark Prince thankfully does not charge, and so actually a very favorable situation for Betfas now. I'm actually really shocked as to why Jorge didn't pop the Queen ability. I feel like he would have gotten a lot more damage there. But now Jorge is in a pretty good spot, I think, because he has Giant back in Cycle. Betfas does not have Archers, so if he really wanted, I feel like he could Giant Graveyard the bridge here. But yeah, Betfas was at least 2 cards away from Archers there, but just go Skarmy instead. I think he's going to set up with another Giant in the back. It's pretty interesting how they make these plays, like they literally Giant the back, knowing that you have Xbow and Cycle, because sometimes you can't even punish it. They might just ignore it and then go all in and Giant Graveyard push or something. Betfas here defends very thoroughly, taking care of the Dark Prince and making sure to take out this Giant at the bridge. I believe he actually fireballs the minions and logs last second. This I was not expecting, but he actually somehow sneaks an Xbow connection out of that push, out of every push, so that's just very impressive. Not really sure how he did it. I guess just the surprise factor with the log last second. But yeah, we would not expect to get a connection out of that kind of push, I feel like, into a Giant. But Queen ability coming down, Skeletons to protect the archers and Tesla as well. And so I believe Betfas here gets back to a knight just to protect his archers. So arrows should be forced out here. Second set of archers already on the board. We are going to have to see a log on this graveyard, and that's another big thing in this matchup. Also, E-Spirit is really nice here because it is going to help a lot against the graveyards, whereas Ice Spirit is really good on defense, but doesn't really have the same chain as the E-Spirit, where E-Spirit's really good at cleaning up graveyards. But also notice Betfas is constantly going with these pre-cycled archers. Don't know what that Tesla was about, actually. I'm kind of interested. But does just set up a Tesla on the side there. Again, knight to protect his archers, so he's doing a really good job at protecting his archers, getting the most out of this DPS. Believe he will just fireball that off. Log first to make sure the Dark Prince shield comes off, and then goes for the fireball, so just a small little detail there, but every detail does matter. And let's see if he expos with the set of archers. No, he doesn't. Very interesting. I guess he knew Jorge was already one away from a giant, so didn't really want to go in. And now Jorge has a giant graveyard, and Betfas again does not have archers in cycle, but he's back to them now. And so Jorge does not have arrows immediately, so this will be a very nice defense for Betfas. Just has to get a log in here again. Very major theme in these matchups when there's giant graveyard push and something is tanking like a giant. You do want to get those logs on the clumped up skeletons, and actually Fireball Cycle in the middle of that defense by Betfas. So it looks like he's not going to go for an Xbow connection. Makes sense. I mean, how are you going to get a lock when you're going same lane as giant graveyard? But just kind of sitting on the merits of his old Xbow connection and just taking that damage advantage to just try and spell cycle this one out. E-Spirit again does a great job at cleaning up some stray skeletons there, and we are going to see another fireball come down. No, we're not actually. He had it hovered, so I thought it was going to come down. But again, Tesla on the side, I really don't know what's up with that. Maybe it's a placement that stops the giant at the bridge. Anyway, knight to protect the archers, so constantly cycling, and Tesla again at the bridge there. I really don't know what's up with that Tesla on the side there. Don't think I've ever seen it against giant graveyard before, even out of Betfas himself, but he just always finds creative new ways to play, I guess. He gets a ton of DPS on this giant, look at that, and giant doesn't even get allowed to cross the bridge. So pretty much a flawless graveyard defense there. He takes like one skeleton hit at the end there, but he basically destroyed the giant at the bridge, is already back to a fireball now, and that's going to be a win against a pretty hard matchup, I'd say, with Queen again, and against the best giant graveyard player in the entire world. Again, I'm pretty sure you saw on his banner there, he had a #1 finish on ladder, and he's just insane. So overall, amazing stuff out of Betfas here. Again, just going to keep it in sequence of matches that he played. I believe he shared it in reverse order, but I remember in a screenshot this was the next one against Sniper. Sniper is a very good Mega Knight Ram Rider player. He's actually been playing, I think his name is Hanazono. He's been playing for a long time. I actually remember I went up against him once and I beat him and he got really mad. That's just my memory of him, but as you can see, he has over 10 GT finishes, over 10 ladder finishes with this deck, and constantly top 100, you know, top 33 finish overall. Absolutely insane. He usually does play Mega Knight Ram Rider, this exact deck, and I believe he had a Bandit in place of the Golden Knight before Golden Knight was added, but I guess he switched to this version now. Let's take a look, because this is, again, I would say definitely not a good matchup. Maybe it is, but because normally if he had Bandit, this would be a good matchup, but because he has the Golden Knight is such a hard counter to 3.0, and he also does get the 3-card cycle activation off of that, so it's overall just very annoying for Xbow, especially when Betfas isn't playing with a champion, he's playing with 3.0, and by the way, to all of you guys wondering, yes, it is possible to do this well with 3.0, he literally finished top 20 in a pretty bad meta, finished higher than any Xbow Queen users, and just absolutely incredible. So there is still viability to be seen in 3.0 Xbow Cycle. Gets a small connection there, actually. Kind of interesting. He went Tesla first play. I thought that was kind of funny. And has to get Elastic and Golden Knight down here. Does the opponent, so he doesn't let the Knight lock on. But Betfas is in the lead here. And he's actually up a lot of elixirs. So I'm curious if he will go in. Okay, just go archers. So, and pretty smart of the opponent there to not go the ability. But does go with the Xbow, and Hanazono does not have enough for the Mega Knight. So Mega Knight is going to jump now, but damage is done. Xbow is on tower, and very nice out of Betfas there. Just kind of counting elixir. He did get kind of lucky with the starting hand. I think Hanazono didn't have Mega Knight in his starting hand for the first Xbow push, but then really nice elixir counting out of Betfas. Very crucial skill in single elixir. And he just knew he wouldn't have enough for the Mega Knight. I thought maybe Hanazono was being smart by not going for the Gold Knight ability to kind of conserve Elixir and maybe have enough for the Mega Knight, but looks like that still didn't really work out for him. And Inferno Dragon, another reason this isn't a very good matchup, I'd say, is the Inferno Dragon. It is a very annoying card. The only real way you can take care of it is Archers or Tesla. Nothing else really works. I guess you can Skeletons to distract, but they could predict it, or they could have support troops. And also Golden Knight disinvalidates Archers, so normally you would stack Archers against an Inferno Dragon, but if you do that and Golden Knight's coming down the lane, it'll just dash and kill all your Archers, so definitely not what you want to see. And Golden Knight there does dash onto the tower, getting a dash in, but really nice E-Spirit to reset the Ram Rider charge. And Tesla at the bridge, maybe threatening a possible Xbow at the bridge, and he does follow it up with an Xbow. So low Mega Knight forced out, Skeletons willfully counter the Ewiz, and then Knight to protect. And we might have to see, okay, Barb Barrel plus Snowball. Pretty annoying, actually. This is another reason this isn't that easy of a matchup, even if it seems kind of easy, because he has Snowball and Barb Barrel, two really good spells at taking out the Xbow, especially when used in conjunction with each other. Because Barb Barrel is obviously a very good counter to Xbow, and Snowball just is like anti any kind of Skeletons or any distraction troops you want to play. Golden Knight dash there being very stupid, going all over the board, and does actually do a lot of damage. So just like that, Hanazono is definitely back in this game. Kind of misses the E-Wiz, or maybe he actually, no, that was probably intentional to let the Knight lock on and save the E-Wiz's health over the Knights, or over the towers rather, because that is his healthier side tower. But Ram Rider in the back, we might see a Mega Knight in front of this Ram Rider, and we do. Pretty standard push there. Knight at the bridge, very nice play out of Betfas here, and Log as well to reset the Ram Rider charge, just to make the Ram Rider go in front and then let the Mega Knight go and be dealt with afterwards. So very nice stuff there. Cycling all the way back to his second Knight is Betfas, and doesn't let the Golden Knight dash onto the Archers. High Tesla, and actually unscathed Tesla there, so very nice DPS of everything, keeping the Tesla alive. Inferno Dragon again protecting, so Betfas is really protecting this Tesla, but again Mega Knight is there. We do see yet another block at the bridge, and this time Betfas recognizes that Tesla is basically dead, so he doesn't try and preserve it with a Log or E-Spirit, he just lets it go and gets back to a second one. And he is actually still in the lead, so he technically doesn't need to get another connection. And actually interesting there, because Betfas could have gotten a King activation, I feel like, if he just let the Tesla go and then went for a Cycle card, but it's not really a big deal, because he's been defending just fine without the King activation up to this point anyways. And now defensive Xbow comes down, so he's fully committed to just defending, which is interesting. And again, blocking the bridge with the Knight at the bridge against the Mega Knight, and first poison out of the opponent comes down. Actually pretty interesting, he didn't use poison the whole game earlier. And notice that very nice set of Skeletons by Betfas there on the side, a play that I love to make against Golden Knight, where you distract its dash off to the side with either Ice Spirit or Skeletons, so that it doesn't get that charge off on your Archers, on your Tesla, on all your high value troops. Tesla back for this Ram Rider, but this is a huge push. And yeah, pretty much the only way Betfas could have defended that was with a defensive Fireball, so very nice that he got it down. Knight for this Golden Knight, Tesla at the bridge, and then does get a Log off. And poison comes down, but Betfas does get a last second Fireball off. If he didn't get that Fireball off, he actually would have lost, because look at how the damage difference. Hanazono got an extra poison tick in there, so yeah, the Fireball, I think it does 274 at max level, was absolutely needed there. So very nice last second, keeping his composure, making sure he gets his spells down, playing the way he has to play, and overall just very impressive stuff there out of Betfas. And as you can see, Hanazono actually started to overwhelm him in triples, so definitely not a great matchup as the game progresses, and the early lead was definitely required to have a fighting chance in that matchup. Next up, I want to show you guys this one against Miniminter. Miniminter, very good player. Finished 117th and best finish number 10. He was actually in CRL for quite a few years, I think. I've talked to him. He's a really nice guy, and he actually came back after a few seasons of not playing, I think, and he already finished above 8k, so very impressive stuff there. Out of Mini, of course, playing this RG Lightning deck, and this is a very hard matchup, I feel like. I definitely hate this matchup, no matter which Xbow version I have, because the Lightning is just very annoying, and he also has 2 Cycle cards, which means you can't really outcycle him. Actually, let's take a look if it's on his profile. the deck. It is, as you can see, it's a 3.3 average elixir cycle. But if you take a look at the other cards, Skeletons is 1, E-Spirit is 1, Fisherman and Ghost are 3 each. So that's actually the same exact cycle as 3.0 Xbow cycle. Knight is 3, Fisherman is 3, Archers are 3, Ghost is 3. You have 2 cycle cards. You have the Log, you have the Tesla, which is in place of the Hunter. The only difference is Lightning in the place of Fireball. Otherwise, the average elixir cost is actually exactly the same as 3.0. So definitely, the reason I said all of that was because it's definitely not easy to outcycle them, and they can definitely just win by Lightning cycling you and saving Royal Giant for your Expo. So we definitely have to see how Miniminter, or how Betfas rather, was able to beat Miniminter in this type of matchup, because I personally struggle with this matchup a lot. I remember in my full 12 in Classic Challenge series once when I went 11 wins, I think my final loss was against this deck in one of them. But Fireball off on the Fisherman here. We are getting started into the match now. And so back in the day, I believe a good play was to Tesla the Fisherman, but that 7-4 taught me that, one of the best Expo players. But that was back when Tesla had a 40-second or 35-second lifetime. Now it has a 30-second lifetime, and it is also weaker. It got 2 nerfs with the hit speed, and again that lifetime nerf. So definitely not as worth spamming your Teslas against the Fisherman. I think Betfas would just rather fireball them off at this point, but does Tesla the Hunter. And in this kind of matchup, you generally want to save your Knight for the Royal Ghost if possible, because it is a very annoying card, and it is just honestly pretty threatening. If you don't have a Knight, if you go like Skeletons, they can predict log your Skeletons, they can E-Spirit your Skeletons, as you saw just now, comes down. So because the Tesla was alive, that's the only reason Betfas was still able to defend the Ghost. But Fisherman, again, same lane, does get fireballed off. And Betfas goes for a Tesla. Very interesting here. He doesn't go for a Knight, which would have been my first instinct. He actually goes Archers. And the reason for that is because Archers are higher DPS than Knight. And also Fisherman was on the board. So if you went for a Knight, would have gotten whisked away by the Fisherman and maybe not been as effective on defense. So very nice little play there by Betfas. Not using his immediate cycle, but knowing if he went for a Tesla, he'd be back to Archers in the next card. And Expo actually comes down in here, and Lightning E-Spirit Log out of Miniminter to fully counter the Expo, but for some reason doesn't hit the tower. I don't really know why he did that. And here Betfas, knowing that Mini doesn't have Log or E-Spirit in cycle, very nice there, does just go Skeletons E-Spirit. Another way you can fully counter the Ghost. Skeleton Surround doesn't do it, but Skeleton Surround plus a Spirit will do it. I don't know about Fire Spirit, but I know E-Spirit and Ice Spirit will do it. Knight Expo as Mini goes for RG in the back. Very interesting here, because Knight into Expo is very aggressive, and actually fireballs off the Fisherman, so forcing out a Lightning and still getting a nice connection there, which is very interesting because I would not have really expected Betfas to get a connection there, but because he fireballed the Fisherman, I guess he made Miniminter panic a little bit. But still, RG coming down, Archers come down, E-Spirit for the E-Spirit of Minis, and then just Log. Perfect defense. They're only taking 1 hit without a Tesla helping out. So very nice there as well. Notice how Betfas didn't allow the E-Spirit to connect to the Archers, because E-Spirit plus Log does kill Archers, and Betfas needs his Archers on defense, so he does protect them. And here he does not go with an Expo, I think, because the Ghost is there, yep. And Mini was kind of predicting an Expo anyways, so very nice out of Betfas there to just kind of sit back and defend, set up with a Tesla instead of getting too aggressive. And Lightning out of Mini there, very interesting. And Hunter will get 1 kind of blast on the tower there, 200 damage, but still Betfas defends this very well. Tesla Knight, and Miniminter is actually surprised at how well Betfas is holding on here. And because of that early damage lead, I think that's the only reason he really wins this one. Because if he didn't get a connection, I don't think this is a matchup that you win without an Expo connection. But now we notice he is going Tesla on the Fisherman, and almost went Expo there. I definitely would have gone Expo there, but because he saw the Ghost predicting the Expo, he reacted fast enough to not go for it. And so very nice reaction time there, very nice adaptability, changing to the prediction, reacting very fast again. And here RG again in the right. Betfas goes Knight on the right instead of the left because Fisherman is on the left again. And so very nice little set of defensive sequencing there. Notice how he knew that he needed another Tesla for the left side, but because he knew that Expo was alive on the right, he didn't need the Tesla to be in the middle. So he kind of separated it all out there. And that actually gets a hit on the right, which is a big mistake out of Mini, allowing another hit there. And Lightning comes down, so Betfas is getting back to a Tesla here, and does again defend. And notice again, he is, I think he logged the E-Spirit there, if I'm not mistaken, so again, didn't allow the E-Spirit to get hit. on the archers, which just preserved the archers and allowed them to defend the RG. So very, very nice there out of Betfas, constantly protecting his archers, protecting his defensive troops, allowing the defense to come through and not kind of messing up eSpirit at the bridge there. But Knight will help out archers as well, and Tesla setting up very defensively as Betfas here, and then just Fireball cycles because he knows Mini probably wants to Lightning cycle at this point. Back to archers and goes for a second Tesla on the side. Very nice there. Another big thing, varying your placement so that the opponent doesn't predict you. And so because he knew the Lightning was coming down as well, he didn't stack the Teslas together, which might be our first instinct, because he didn't want them to both get taken out by the Lightning. So just very nice play there. Constantly switching your Tesla placements against RG is very important. Betfas didn't have to do it very much that game because he was mostly keeping Mini on the defensive end, and Mini wasn't really... I feel like momentum was on Betfas' side in that game, but still did it at the very end. Very nice example there. So a very nice win against RG Lightning. Again, I would say quite a hard matchup. But next up, we have this game against Husei16. A very good Lava player. Let's see where he finished. Finished 64th, actually, which is very good. I believe Lava was really good last season as well. Actually, Doom finished number 1 with it, Dominic, so that just kind of shows that it's really good, but Doom's also really good. But anyways, this is kind of his own deck, kind of a mix between... Actually, it's pretty much the LavaLoon Minor Arrows Barbarians deck, but with guards instead of Barbarians. So I feel like guards are better for Xbow a little bit because barbs are more annoying, but still don't think this is Betfas' matchup, especially with E-Spirit and not Ice Spirit or Fire Spirit, although Fire Spirit isn't that good anymore because it doesn't one-shot Lava Pups. Can't believe it used to, though. That was kind of broken. But anyways, let's get into this match. I remember this one being kind of interesting because I wanted to take note of this. Betfas plays Lava matchups differently from almost every other Xbow player in some ways. I'll show you what I mean by that. But we do see E-Spirit first play out of Betfas. Probably knows what he's up against. Husei going with the Lava Hound. Unfortunately, kind of starting hands Betfas there. Doesn't have Xbow in Cycle. I'm sure he would have gone Xbow if he had it in Cycle. But recognizing that he didn't get to go for an Xbow, instead just sets up with full defense, pre-cycling the archers and Tesla. And now Husei just arrows his away the archers. And this is a very important feature here. Betfas knows, and this is kind of a top ladder thing as well. All the good Lava players, they do minor the Tesla at top ladder. They don't minor your tower. When I usually play, and I finished top 300 last season, I was also in the top 200 quite a lot. When I do play, usually they don't minor my Teslas, actually. I don't know why, but I noticed that all the top players do minor the Teslas. Husei does it here. I'm pretty sure Rakan does it, one of the old best Lava players in the game. So just a very common top ladder trend, not really something you guys might see at mid ladder or lower ladder, or even at my range, 7k, 7.6k, 7.8k, where I played last season. Didn't really see this coming a lot, but I just wanted to mention that it does happen. It's the best play at top ladder, and Betfas knows that it's the best play, so he does actually predict the minor on the Tesla, not the tower, and does get the prediction off, which is just perfect. So just like that, very nice defense out of Betfas here. And then Balloon is in Cycle, but Betfas is already back to another set of archers in 2 cards, went with Log plus E-Spirit, so he's already back. An interesting King activation there. I don't think there was much value in that. I guess maybe against a Knight at the Bridge, but Knight at the Bridge isn't that good of a play anymore against Lava, I think, so I don't know why he wanted to activate King there, but anyways, does go for a Zap. And then Betfas actually just goes for an Xbow straight up, and Husei goes for guards plus Inferno Dragon. And Betfas, actually very interesting here, does go E-Spirit to reset the iDrag and archers after at the bridge. This is something I wasn't expecting at all, because normally I would, if this was me playing, I would let this Expo die 100% after he goes, after the E-Spirit. I would E-Spirit to reset the Inferno Dragon, sure, but then I would probably try and defend the iDrag on my side. I wouldn't go archers at the bridge. So this was super interesting. Looks like Betfas really wanted to get a connection here. And he does go all in, like literally going archers at the bridge. Won't even take care of the Inferno Dragon, by the way, but he just wants to stall out for a bit. But does force out the arrows, which is pretty nice for him. And does actually still get pretty decent connection. Has to go skeletons there just to kind of help against the iDrag. Otherwise it would have gotten like maybe a few hundred damage on the right side, so we didn't want to take that. But this is another very interesting thing, which I was saying only Betfas really does. Lava in the back, and Betfas goes Expo same lane, not opposite lane. And even Husei is surprised, goes wow, because you always Expo same lane. At least that's the way I learned it, that's the way I still play it today. but Betfas goes opposite lane for whatever reason, and it works out for him. Here, notice, very nice play. It goes Tesla, doesn't let the Skelly Dragon lock on, though, waits for it to lock on the tower, and then goes for the Tesla to take care of the Skeleton Dragon and also help out against the lava incoming in the left. And Tesla going to work on the Lava Hound there. Skeleton is just to kind of stall it out for a bit. And now Husei's in a lot of trouble, actually, because his tower's pretty low. It's getting later in the match. Betfas does, again, pre-cycle archers. Goes Tesla. Husei protects his eye drag with the Lava Hound. Pretty standard play there. And Betfas, does he fireball the set of Skelly Dragons? He actually doesn't, because the Tesla's locked on. He actually instead just chooses to protect with the Knight. And he's back to his second Tesla now. So 2 Teslas on the board for Betfas here. Although Miner going to town on the right side tower. And here Betfas gets a super crucial fireball. Lava Pups are stacking, but Betfas just barely gets that really nice fireball off. And also just pushing the balloon just barely out of range in terms of the death bomb. Here, Log comes down, E-Spirit to reset, and then Knight at the bridge as well. Husei was absolutely not expecting that play. As you can see, he didn't react in time because he didn't think Betfas would do that. But really nice play out of Betfas, like kind of going all in. If that didn't work out, he might have lost because the tower was so low, but he knew he wouldn't be able to defend that very well, so he just instead went all in, tried to take the tower, and it did work out for him. So, very nice win there. Very unconventional, different type of playstyle against Lava, but Betfas makes it work. I mean, he always goes opposite lane. I don't know how. He even tower trades constantly because he goes opposite lane, but he still wins, like in tiebreaker. So, I don't know how he does it, but he always wins against Lava by going opposite lane. For you guys and for me, I'm still going to stick to same lane. I would recommend you do the same, Xbow same lane, because I don't really have the tools to win a tower trade. Or I do win tower trades, but I don't feel comfortable with it. Betfas does. If you're comfortable tower trading, then sure, go ahead, but I personally think it's a lot easier to just play same lane, keep it simple. But anyways, that's going to be a very nice win. Now into the final match against Bana here. This is not actually Bana. He's a top ladder golem player. Not actually sure who this is. Let's see. Okay, it doesn't say where he finished. There was someone called Mizuhara who was doing super well with Logbait, and all the Japanese players switched to Bana's name. Bana is a golem player, but a lot of top ladder Japanese players switch names to copy his name for some reason, I guess for fun, or I don't know, but kind of funny, I guess. But here it is, copying his name, Imposter Bana here. Logbait, I feel like this is Logbait's matchup because he does have skeletons, not guards, so he does have a pretty fast cycle here. The only thing is he has Inferno Tower, not Cannon, so this new meta Logbait deck, without Mighty Miner, usually runs Cannon in place of Inferno Tower, so Bana having the Inferno Tower here. I guess I'm just going to call him Bana because I don't know who he actually is. And Betfas on the top, Bana at the bottom. Let's see how Betfas won this one. Logbait is a very interesting matchup again. I feel like it's not that easy, so definitely want to see how he did it. E-Spirit in the middle. Notice Betfas is constantly actually playing cards in the middle because he knows Bana has a Princess. I'm sure, I mean, when you're at top ladder, you already know what all your opponents are playing, so he just knows that Bana has Princess, so against Princess, against Logbait, you want to cycle cards in the middle when they have Princess in cycle, so they can't get a Princess at the bridge onto the tower. But Tesla takes care of the Princess there. Bana's hovering the Rocket for the Xbow because he knows that Betfas has an Xbow in cycle. Betfas does actually just go for the Xbow, but Log plus Rocket plus Skeletons will fully counter that, so pretty much an unfortunate start to this game for Betfas, already down 500 damage because Princess at the bridge is super annoying, but we'll see how he plays the rest of this out. Again, predicting stuff in the middle. Skeletons in the middle, goes for a Knight in the middle next, I believe. Yup, so very interesting there, and Bana just goes for a Knight to match it. Archers out of Betfas to snipe this Knight, and Princess will clean up the archers actually pretty well. Xbow comes down out of Betfas though, and Bana goes for the Inferno Tower. So E-Spirit plus Skeletons does reset the Inferno, but unfortunately Inferno has so much HP it still does the trick, so kind of unfortunate there. But Knight will come down and will take care of the Princess. I feel like Bana could have protected that Princess with his own Knight, but I guess he decided not to. It's fine, he's already back to a new one anyway, so we'll see if he goes for it at the bridge here. Betfas actually hovering the Tesla because he actually predicts the Princess at the bridge, and I think Bana was about to do that until he saw that because he actually had Princess hovered, so pretty nice play out of Betfas there. Archers to take care of the barrel, pretty nice recognition as well, noticing the barrel was in the front of the tower, so he didn't have to log it, he could just archers to fully counter. Xbow coming down with the Tesla. and I believe he fireballs this princess off now, so I think that's the first fireball we saw out of Betfas there in this game. Pretty interesting because all the Xbow players have a different playstyle in this type of matchup. Tyton, one of my most respected Xbow players, or one of the Xbow players I respect the most, I guess I should word it differently, does play this very differently. He actually fireball cycles a lot in this matchup. But Betfas chooses to go in offensively constantly, and he actually gets a small connection there, which is very nice. Fireballs off this next princess, and he's actually somehow caught up now. He's only down 1 log pretty much. So Skeleton's in the middle. I think he again predicts the princess with a Tesla, this time off to the side. Pretty similar to that RG matchup, I think, where he was playing the Teslas on the side. Or no, the Giant Graveyard one, that's what I was thinking of. But Princess at the back instead. Knight for the Ice Spirit, and then Archers to snipe. And Archers, will he go in here, actually? Let's see. Barrel comes down, actually has to fireball the barrel, unfortunately, so I don't think he's going to go in after he was down so much elixir. And here, a very good play, does log both the princesses, even though you usually want to save your log for the barrel. Betfas notices that's just too much value to pass up, and he does just take it. Pretty nice counter of the barrel there. I think Betfas assumed that the Tesla would take care of the top left goblin, so a bit unfortunate that it didn't, but still. Xbow does get 1 tick onto tower. Tesla will take care of this princess, and we are heading into triple very soon. First fireball cycle out of Betfas now, so that's what I was talking about. That's how Tyton plays this matchup. He fireball cycles, like naked fireball, a lot. But Betfas instead tries to go in a lot, which is very interesting here. But Xbow again coming down. Log for the barrel, and Bana just has a rocket for every Xbow, because he has a very fast cycle. Like, this is not that easy of a matchup, I feel like. He just outcycled Betfas's log, but still almost perfect defense. Does take 1 hit here. Xbow coming down once again. Bana will just rocket it off once more, but does, wow, somehow mess up that Ice Spirit, and that is very important because that damage, I think, is what made this game for Betfas here. Does now cycle a fireball, and constantly going with these Teslas, very interesting. So it looks like that's how he likes to play the matchup, just Tesla for the princess. That's how he likes to deal with it. E-Spirit Knight trying to retarget the princess, but unfortunately Archers do go down, but still Tesla's on the board, and now I believe he goes for an Xbow again. And Bana tries to defend this one without a rocket, but Betfas is ready. Look at how fast his reaction time is, catching all of that stuff at the bridge. And Tesla again on the other side in the middle of this Xbow push, as he also fireballs away the Knight. And Bana can't really rocket the tower because he has to defend this Xbow, so does have to get a rocket down now. But Betfas is already back to another fireball, so even though rocket does come down, Betfas's fireball also comes down, and that's going to put him in the lead, and that's going to let him win the game. So very nice control overall there. Betfas looks like he didn't actually need that fireball to win. He was still going to win either way, but still very proactive, very nice gameplay out of him to win. I would say not an easy matchup, honestly. But yeah, that's going to be it, guys. Those were the 5 replays he had to share with me. He told me he only had 5 to share, unfortunately. But Betfas, as I said, the best Xbow player in the world last season, finished number 19 global. Super impressive stuff there. And overall, just very glad I was able to get his games today, share them with you guys, commentate over them. Hope you guys enjoyed. I haven't done this type of thing in a long time, so I hope it was fun. I hope it was educational for you, and also entertaining, because Betfas is very, very nice to watch. He just plays so well. And very, very interesting matchups there. Actually, I don't think any of those were necessarily Betfas's matchup. Definitely not Giant Graveyard. Definitely not RG Lightning. Definitely not Lava Hound with the E-Spirit in there. And these two are debatable, I guess. But I feel like Logbait is, and I feel like this one isn't simply because of Golden Knight. But anyways, that's going to be it, guys. So hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. Betfas did a great job, so congrats again to him. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I will see you in the next one.